Good evening and welcome back. Tonight, we are stepping into a time before history learned how to write and before fear learned how to scream. Tonight, we listen. Across thousands of years, humans whispered the same name in different languages. Dragon, not shouted, not celebrated, remembered. Before dragons became fantasy, before they flew in movies, they lived in the quiet corners of the human mind. This is where our journey begins. What a myth really is. Modern people misunderstand myths. They think myths are lies. But myths were never meant to entertain. They were meant to survive. A myth was a warning system, a memory preserved when memory itself was fragile. Before writing, before books, before libraries, stories were the only way to carry truth across generations. And what deserved to be remembered most? Danger. Early humans feared three things above all else: darkness, fire, predators. Darkness hid what could kill you. Fire destroyed everything you built. Predators hunted you silently. Now imagine a creature that combined all three: a shape in the dark, a body like armor, a presence tied to fire and destruction. That fear became form. That form became the dragon. Let us slow down here, because this is important. Europe described dragons with scales, claws, wings, and teeth. China described long serpents that ruled rain and storms. The Middle East warned of great serpents guarding forbidden places. Mesoamerica spoke of feathered sky serpents. Africa told stories of river dragons and storm beasts. Different continents, different climates, different cultures, same creature. Coincidence fades when repetition appears. The human brain evolved to recognize patterns fast. If a pattern meant death, the brain remembered it forever. When humans encountered something they could not explain, they did not ignore it. They named it. They described it. They warned others. This is why dragons do not change much across cultures. Fear does not need creativity. It needs accuracy. Early dragon myths did not fly. They crawled. They slithered. They guarded caves, water, and land. Wings came later. Why? Because wings represent dominance. When humans could not escape something on land, they imagined it ruling the sky as well. The dragon evolved as human fear evolved. Why dragons live far from people? Dragons never live in villages. They live in caves, in mountains, near volcanoes, in deep forests. Places humans avoided. Places where people went missing. Places where sounds echoed and shadows moved without warning. Ancient humans did not know geology. They did not know gas leaks. They did not know tectonic shifts. They only knew these places killed. So they said, "A dragon lives there." And people listened. Fire was the most terrifying force ancient humans knew. It appeared suddenly. It spread uncontrollably. It left nothing behind. So fire became symbolism. When myths say dragons burned cities, they are not describing monsters. They are describing disaster. Volcanic eruptions, wildfires, poisonous smoke. The dragon was nature without explanation. Let your shoulders soften. Nothing here is meant to shock you. This is a slow remembering. Fantasy creates endlessly. Myths repeat carefully. That is the difference. If dragons were imaginary, they would vary wildly. But they do not. They are consistent, persistent, stubborn, like memory. So we end this part with a quiet question. Not to answer now, but to carry forward. What kind of creature leaves such a deep scar on the human story that even when it disappears? In the last part, we spoke about memory. Now, we speak about evidence. Long before laboratories, before microscopes, before science learned how to ask questions, the earth itself began to answer, not with words, but with bones. Imagine walking through dry land. The sun is heavy, the wind is silent, and beneath your feet, something white breaks through the soil. You kneel, you brush away dust. What you uncover is not human, not animal, not anything you recognize. A skull larger than any beast you have hunted, teeth curved like weapons, bone thicker than your arms. You have no language for this, no science, only fear and imagination shaped by survival. So you give it the only name that fits: dragon. Ancient people did not discover fossils. They stumbled upon them. Every continent hides remains of massive creatures, giant reptiles, prehistoric mammals, unknown predators. The land did not care that humans were not ready. It revealed its past anyway. And the human mind did what it always does. It explained the unknown with the known. In ancient China, farmers often found large bones while digging fields or wells. They did not throw them away. They respected them. These were called dragon bones. They were ground into medicine, stored in temples, passed down as sacred objects, not because people were foolish, but because they believed these bones belonged to powerful beings that once shaped the world. Even today, some of these fossil sites still exist. The memory never faded. In medieval Europe, fossils were displayed publicly. Massive bones were placed in churches. Skulls were shown as proof that monsters once walked the land, proof that ancient stories were true. Villages believed dragons lived nearby because bones were found nearby. The logic was simple. Bones mean death. Death means danger. Danger means a creature. And the creature already had a name. Here is something important to understand. The human brain does not panic randomly. It fills gaps. When information is missing, the brain builds a bridge using memory, fear, and pattern. Ancient humans had no extinction theory, no prehistoric timeline, no evolutionary explanation. So they filled the gap with the strongest story available: the dragon. Dinosaurs were named only a few centuries ago, but their remains have existed for millions of years. Humans did not suddenly find them. They always did. They simply did not know what they were looking at. A dinosaur skull does not say ancient reptile. It says monster, predator, impossible size, a perfect candidate for myth. Dragons are not random creatures. They are assembled from reality. Reptile scales, from snakes and lizards. Massive size, from fossil remains. Wings, from fear of dominance. Fire, from disaster memory. Each feature has an origin. Myths do not invent, they combine. And dragons are a combination of everything humanity once feared. Many fossil sites exist near volcanoes, mountains, fault lines, places ancient humans avoided. When bones were found in these regions, it confirmed what people already believed: that these lands were cursed, that monsters lived there, that dragons slept beneath the earth. And sometimes, the earth agreed, with fire. Volcanoes erupted without warning. Smoke poured from the earth. The ground shook. Animals fled. People died. And afterward, bones were found, burned, broken, scattered. To ancient humans, this was not geology. This was a dragon waking up. Nothing we are saying means ancient people were wrong. They were interpreting reality with limited tools, and in many ways, they were closer to the truth than we like to admit. In many myths, dragons are confused with giants. Why? Because large bones were not neatly arranged. A rib could become a weapon, a femur could become a pillar, a skull could become a mountain monster. Stories merged, creatures grew, memory distorted gently over time, but the core remained. Something big once lived here. Stories that are false disappear. Stories tied to fear survive. Parents told children, "Do not go there. A dragon lives there." And children listened. Because somewhere nearby, bones still rested in the earth, silent, watching. Extinction is a modern word, but loss is ancient. What if early humans were not just finding bones, but remembering creatures their ancestors once saw alive? What if dragons are not dinosaur myths, but megafauna memories, large reptiles, ancient predators, survivors of a dying age? The last ones hunted, the last ones feared, the last ones remembered. The earth keeps everything: bones, ash, memory. And when humans dig deep enough, the past speaks, not loudly, but clearly. In the last part, we listened to the earth. We followed the bones buried beneath soil and time. Bones that confused, frightened, and shaped the earliest memories of dragons. But bones alone do not explain everything. Because dragons were never remembered as silent creatures. They burned, they roared, they destroyed. So now, we move from what lay beneath the ground to what rose from it. Fire, smoke, heat that came without warning. In a world without science, fire was not an element, it was a message. And tonight, we uncover why ancient humans believed that dragons did not just live in the mountains. They breathed fire. Before fire had rules, before humans learned to control it, before flames could be summoned at will, fire appeared like a predator. Sudden, violent, unstoppable. It destroyed shelters. It erased food. It killed without mercy. To early humans, fire did not behave like a tool. It behaved like a living thing. And anything that behaves like a living thing eventually receives a face. Fire was the first power humans could not argue with. You could not fight it. You could not reason with it. You could only run. When lightning struck forests, entire landscapes vanished. When fire spread through dry land, the sky turned black. People did not say, "Nature caused this." They said, "Something powerful has awakened." Some mountains did not remain still. They rumbled, they shook, they breathed smoke. At night, they glowed red like open wounds. Lava poured out like molten blood. Ash fell from the sky like black snow. To ancient humans, this was not geology. This was a creature, a massive being sleeping beneath the earth. A dragon. Why dragons live in mountains? Across cultures, dragons are never found in open plains. They live in mountains, volcanoes, deep caves, dangerous cliffs. These were the places humans feared the most. People vanished near them. Animals avoided them. Strange sounds came from within. When the mountain erupted, it felt alive. A mountain that breathes smoke needs a mouth. A mountain that releases fire needs a soul. Thus, the dragon found its home. Some dangers left no wounds. Ancient humans knew this well. There were caves where people entered and never returned. No blood, no struggle, only stillness. Today, we know about toxic gases, but ancient humans did not. They believed something inside the cave had exhaled death. A breath so powerful it could kill without touch. This is why dragon breath is often described as deadly, even without flame. Wildfires did not stop at forests. They reached villages. Homes made of wood vanished instantly. Crops burned. Animals screamed. Survivors told stories, not of accidents, but of attacks. A dragon came in the night. It burned everything. It left nothing behind. This was not exaggeration. This was trauma. History records entire cities that vanished under ash and fire. Some were buried. Some were abandoned forever. Those who survived did not understand plate tectonics or atmospheric pressure. They understood only this. The sky darkened. The earth shook. Fire followed. A dragon had passed through. Ear without form is unbearable to the human mind. The brain needs a shape to protect itself. So fire gained. Eyes, teeth, intent, a voice. Fire became a creature, not because humans were foolish, but because they were human. Notice how often dragons are described as serpents. Snakes already symbolized sudden death, poison. Silence fire behave the same way. Quiet, fast, lethal. So the most ancient fear borrowed the most ancient body. The serpent learned to burn. Why fire made dragons evil in the West? Cultures that feared loss of control feared fire. Fire destroyed order. Fire erased wealth. Fire humbled kings. So dragons became evil. They hoarded gold. They burned land. They had to be slain. The hero who killed the dragon was not just brave. He restored control over chaos. Why fire did not make dragons evil everywhere? Some cultures saw fire differently. Fire warmed. Fire cooked. Fire renewed land. These cultures respected balance. So their dragons were not monsters. They controlled rain. They balanced nature. They were powerful, not evil. The dragon reflected belief, not biology. Smoke was more terrifying than flame. It hid danger. It suffocated silently. It turned day into night. Ancient myths say, the dragon darkened the sky. This is not poetry. This is memory. Volcanic ash. Wildfire smoke. A sun swallowed whole. Why dragons roar? Volcanoes roar. The earth screams when it breaks. Wind howls through burning forests. To ancient humans, these were voices. Deep, angry, alive. A dragon without a roar would never feel real. By now, the pattern is clear. Dragonfire is not magic. It is memory. Volcanoes, wildfires, toxic gases, smoke-filled skies combined into one being. A being humans could describe. A being they could warn others about. Relax your shoulders. Fire cannot reach you here. It exists only as memory now. Fire still burns cities. Smoke still darkens skies. Mountains still erupt. The dragon never died. It simply changed shape. When ancient people said a dragon breathed fire, they were not telling a fantasy. They were remembering fear without language, and memory never truly fades. In the last part, we followed fire. We listened to smoke rise from mountains, to the earth breathing heat and destruction. But even fire has limits. It burns the land, not the sky. And yet, dragons were never bound to the ground alone. They watched from above. They circled storms. They darkened the sun. They ruled the air. So now, we lift our eyes upward to understand why dragons were given wings. For early humans, the ground could be touched, the sky could not. The sky was unreachable, uncontrollable, unforgiving. Rain fell without warning. Lightning struck without mercy. Darkness swallowed the sun. Everything above felt intentional, alive, watching. When the sky attacked, storms were violent. Thunder shook the earth. Lightning burned trees instantly. Wind destroyed shelters. To ancient people, the danger did not come from the ground. It came from above. Something lived there. Something powerful enough to throw fire from the sky. A creature that ruled storms needed wings. Why dragons learned to fly. Flying creatures already inspired fear. Birds saw everything. They arrived silently. They escaped easily. Now imagine a creature larger than any bird, with scales instead of feathers, with a roar instead of a cry. Flight made the dragon complete. It was no longer avoidable. It could reach anywhere. Long before recorded history, humans lived alongside enormous birds. Some stood taller than humans. Some had wings wider than boats. These birds hunted. These birds killed. Early humans did not forget this. As these creatures disappeared, memory remained. Bird fear merged with serpent fear, and the dragon grew wings. Ancient myths describe storms as beings. They chase, they roar, they destroy. Clouds twist like bodies. Lightning flashes like eyes. Thunder sounds like a voice. To ancient humans, storms were not weather. They were creatures crossing the sky. Dragons did not create storms. They were storms. When the sky went wrong, few events terrified ancient people like eclipses. The sun vanished. The world dimmed. Animals panicked. Something had eaten the sky. Across cultures, people said the same thing. A great beast had swallowed the sun. Often, a dragon. Predators attack from above. This is a universal fear. A danger you cannot see coming is the most terrifying of all. By giving dragons wings, the human mind expressed this fear. No hiding, no running, only watching the sky and hoping. When wind howls through mountains, it sounds like breath. When storms arrive, the air changes. Ancient myths say, the dragon passed overhead. This was not imagination. This was sensation. Pressure changes. Temperature drops. The land feels alive. Why humans fear what watches from above? Humans evolved as prey. Eyes above meant death. Birds, predators, falling danger. The sky represented vulnerability. So the dragon moved there, not because it needed wings, but because fear demanded them. Many cultures blurred the line between dragons and gods. Sky gods controlled. Rain, thunder, lightning dragons did the same. Sometimes dragons were servants, sometimes enemies, sometimes the gods themselves. This confusion reveals something deep. Dragons were not animals, they were explanations. Why some dragons control weather. Weather meant survival. Rain meant crops. Storms meant destruction. Whoever controlled the sky controlled life. So dragons became weather rulers, not out of fantasy, but out of desperation to understand control. Myths often say, the dragon's shadow covered the land. This describes something real. Storm clouds, ash clouds, darkened skies. When the sun disappeared, the dragon had arrived. Dragons did not need wings biologically. They needed them symbolically. Wings meant power, reach, inescapability. The dragon became complete only when it ruled all realms: land, fire, sky. Over time, humans learned science. Storms had names, eclipses had explanations. The sky lost its monsters, but memory did not. The dragon still watches, even if we no longer believe. As this part fades, remember this quietly. When ancient people looked at the sky and imagined a dragon, they were not dreaming, they were afraid. And fear always looks upward first. When the sky finally grew quiet, when storms passed and shadows lifted, humanity did something unexpected. It stopped fearing the dragon, and instead, it tried to kill it. At first, dragons were avoided. People stayed away from caves. They respected mountains. They watched the sky carefully. But as humans changed, so did the stories. Villages became cities. Tools became weapons. Fear slowly turned into ambition. And ambition asked a dangerous question. What if the dragon could be defeated? The birth of the dragon slayer. Every culture eventually created a hero, a lone figure, often young, often underestimated. The hero does what others fear. He enters the cave, he climbs the mountain, he faces the dragon. But listen carefully. The Dragon Slayer story is not about killing a creature. It is about conquering fear. Why humans needed dragon slayers? Fear protects us, but fear also limits us. As humans expanded into dangerous lands, they needed permission. Permission to mine mountains, to enter caves, to cross wild territories. The Dragon Slayer myth gave that permission. If the hero killed the dragon, then the land was safe. When dragons turned into villains, notice something subtle. Early dragons were forces of nature. Later dragons became evil beings. Why? Because nature itself became the enemy. Forests were cleared, mountains were mined, rivers were controlled. The dragon had to die for civilization to grow. Now we slow down, because here the world split in two. In the West, dragons became symbols of chaos. They hoarded, they destroyed, they had to be killed. In the East, dragons remained symbols of balance. They controlled rain, they protected harmony. They were never slain. Same dragon, different worldview. Eastern cultures did not seek to conquer nature. They sought to understand it. Floods were not enemies. Storms were not punishments. They were rhythms. So dragons became guides, not monsters. Western cultures feared disorder. They valued control. Anything uncontrollable became dangerous. So dragons became enemies. To kill the dragon was to prove dominance. Which one was right? Neither, and both. Dragons were mirrors. They reflected how humans saw the world. Did dragons really exist? Now we arrive at the quietest question. The one whispered, never shouted. Did dragons actually exist? Not as flying fire monsters, but as something else, something real. Long ago, the world was full of giants, massive reptiles, huge predators, creatures that no longer exist. Humans lived alongside them, hunted them, feared them, remembered them. When these creatures vanished, memory remained. Extinction did not happen suddenly. It faded. Each generation saw fewer. Stories grew stronger as sightings grew rarer. until one day, only stories were left. What if dragons are not fantasy, but the final echo of creatures humans once knew? Their size exaggerated, their danger magnified, their power mythologized. Memory does this. It protects what is almost forgotten. Why dragons never disappeared? Even after science, even after maps, dragons stayed. Why? Because they were never about biology. They were about fear, respect, awe, and those things never go extinct. Today, dragons live in stories, but look closer. We still fear fire, still fear storms, still fear the unknown. The dragon simply changed its mask. Now, let everything slow. Your breathing, your thoughts, your day. Dragons no longer need to roar. They have already been heard. They live in memory, in caution, in respect for forces larger than us. And as you drift towards sleep, remember this truth. Myths are not lies. They are memories spoken softly, so they are never lost.